special episode today. I thought because we've gone on a really long journey and we've interviewed so many authors, I thought maybe we try something different today. She's a very talented woman, and I have had the honor of working with her for the last year. She is the person who makes our books come into a visual representation. We're talking about book covers today, so I would like to introduce you to Adrijana Cernic. How are you today?
Hi. I'm very good, thank you. I'm really happy to be here with you and to see you finally.
Yes, I'm so excited to meet you because you and I have been working together for over a year now. You have refurbished a lot of my new book covers and they're absolutely stunning. And you know I love you already. So we've been pen pals for over a year and it's so lovely to put a face to the name.
True. The same for me, finally meeting you.
And you're all the way over at Croatia, I believe, aren't you?
Yes, I believe I live in a small European country, Croatia, and who doesn't know about it? It's across the Italy. So we are on that part.
Wow. And what is Croatia? Is it known for anything in particular, or?
I think the most beautiful thing that we have is our Adriatic Sea. It's a very, very beautiful coast. And more and more people coming here, especially this year, was very, very crowded because tourists couldn't go to Greece or to Turkey or to Spain. So I think they all came to us.
That's where you went for vacation, wasn't it?
Yes. I have a small cottage there, so I go every summer there. It's peaceful and it's nice.
That sounds amazing. I want to get straight into it because I thought this would be a really exciting angle because a lot of us obviously kind of know what happens, but we have no idea what happens at the same time. All we know is that you create a beautiful cover for us, but we don't actually know what happens in the background. So I want to dive straight into it and I want to find out what got you into graphic design. Why did you start?
Started around, I think, 8-9 years ago. While I was playing, I like to play games on the PC, fantasy games. So I was playing one and they had fan art competition for the game. And I thought, oh my God, this is so cool. I want to try something to do with my character. So I Googled for the softwares and I found Photoshop and I tried. And I instantly fall in love with it because I always have that artistic touch in me, but I couldn't draw. So that was the problem. And finally, I had something to work with. So I continued to work and to create more art. So one day I joined a website called DeviantArt, where I was posting also my images and art. And I got really good feedbacks about the art and stuff like that. And I think one day I was reading the book and I thought, I can maybe use my work for the book covers. I think they represent something like that because I was all in fantasy books. So I made few pre-mates. I opened my website. And while I was doing that, I noticed that I'm kind of lacking some kind of technical stuff about the publishing. It was not just about art. I mean, art is important, but you also need to know more about publishing. So I went back to school for graphic design, for a graphic publishing specialist, something like that. And my teacher one day, while he was lecturing, he asked us what we're doing, and I showed him my web page and my art, and he was stunned, and he said, "Oh my God, you should do it full time. It should be your job. You should open your own business." And I was like, "Oh my God, no way. I'm not going to leave my day job and security and benefits." And I really can't do that. I'm a bit shy person. But every time we met, he was always putting me back in my ear and also giving me some more and more information about it, how government will give me some kind of benefits if I open for the first time business, and how great it is, how he has his own business, and he was telling me all about it. So I started kind of think about it. And also in that time, I got more and more work. So it's really was getting a bit hard to work till 4 or 5. After that, doing some housework, cooking and stuff, and then do my cover work during the night. And I was getting tired. It was a little bit too much. So I talked to my husband what he thinks about it, and he said, what can you lose? You can try for 1 year and see how it goes. If it doesn't go, let it go. And so I finished school. I left my job. I opened my business, and 8, 9 years ago, after that, I'm still here, and I'm really, really thankful every day about it.
Wow, that's amazing. And what I love too, I may say it wrong. Your business is called Adriatica Creation. Is that right? And one thing, I was actually referred by a friend to look at your site because I knew I wanted to revamp my Token Hunter series. And it was Kerry Arthur who said, check out Adriana. And as soon as I came onto your website, I fell in love. I fell in love with your style. I fell in love with your themes. I looked through your portfolio, and one that definitely grabbed my eye was you did the Croatian version of Lee Bardugo's Six of Crows series. And I'm such a big fan of her, and I thought, if she's good enough for Lee Bardugo, she's good enough for me. But I'm so curious as to what are some of the amazing accomplishments and clients that you've worked with along the way, besides me, of course. Who else?
Of course. For sure, Crook Kingdom and the Six of Crows is for sure one of them. It was really highlight for me because Six of Crows was always my favorite cover, even before I started to do this. And one day when they approached me and asked me to do it, I was nervous and afraid, but I was very excited. And I was like, oh my God, how I'm going to do this. I want to do justice to it because I love it so much. But when it was finished, and when I saw that it turned up the way I wanted, I was over the moon. But the also other cover I'm also proud of is a book of Stephen and Dovan King for their book Sleeping Beauties. It's also for the Croatian market. It's not internationally published. Not like Stephen King told me, called me and told me make my cover. But still, I think it's really cool to have your cover on one of the Stephen King's books. So for sure, that's two.
Speaking of international markets, for example, I do know that especially in the traditional publishers, they do have different covers distributing worldwide because obviously the market is very different and it needs a different appeal. But those are like, I am fangirling for you. That's amazing.
Yes, when I work, it's a little bit different when you work for the Croatian market because they can choose. They can take the original cover and pay for that, or they can make their own. Then they don't have to pay anything. They just have to pay the designer, or if they have some employee, they don't have to pay at all. So mostly they decide to create their own. But in the same time, it has to be similar to the original one, not very different. So they always show me the covers that are made in other countries. So like I can see the cover that is made in Spain, in English, and Great Britain, something like that. So I have to make something similar, not entirely different, but it has to be my own touch.
And honestly, like the Six of Crows, it's stunning, and you very much kept it in theme as well. What would you say the most challenging and the most enjoyable part of having your own business and working with so many clients is?
I have to say for me personally that the most difficult part is be constantly present in social media. Because like I said, I'm a bit shy. This is not something that I enjoy and that I like. And for sure, this is a part of my business that I need to improve. And I know that I need to improve. Hopefully I will. But this is something that comes it's unnatural to me really, but I understand the importance, and I know that I have to do it, but it's difficult. The part that I enjoy the most is for sure working with authors, with writers, because they are like my heroes, since I reading tons of books all my life, and I have such a huge respect for the writers, because I really, honestly, I really don't know how you do it. And for me, that's really impressive. And to be able to work with you, to get some kind of glimpse of their work, it's really something that I really, really enjoy. I like to, of course, I like to see my art on the book cover. It's also, I think it's the same for you, because you put so much effort in writing, and it's for sure, I think you feel it's like your baby, right? So I have a same feeling for my art, something like that, because it's not just a business for me. It's something that I really love and enjoy. So when you go, and it's similar like for you, you probably, when you walk into the library and you see, oh my God, here is my book. The same is for me, like, oh my God, there is my cover. So I think those two things are most enjoyable. If I don't have to deal with the social media and media, it would be perfect, I think. Yes.
Is it with the social media? I'm just curious because social media is so important for authors as well. So I'm curious for yourself, is it more so to showcase your portfolio as to what's happening, or are you wanting to include more behind the scenes and what's happening? And I'm assuming it's more for the reach of getting more clientele, I'm assuming. Is that why you're wanting to have a larger presence on there?
I think it's very important today to be present on social media, because it's not just if you keep doing the same thing, people will get bored, of course. So I'm trying to kind of differentiate the things. I mean, on the Facebook, I put my work, my covers that needs to be on sale, or some custom cover stuff like this. But on Instagram, I'm more about just images than the cover, because I think there people there are more interested in this than in Twitter is different. Then you can maybe post something new or something like that. But usually I have mostly I work on Facebook and on Instagram. So I think that doing something like we're doing now is also important, so people can see the person behind it, that it's not just I'm not just someone who is writing emails. And I think it's also important for the writers, because it's not easy for you to trust someone that will do something good for your cover. So yes.
I mean, it is such an intimate relationship too to have. And I've spoken about this in previous episodes, and it's so important that you have the right relationship, whether it's your editor or your cover artist, because you are creating something magical together. And so it's really important that both understand what the theme is and what you're trying to create. And that's something that I absolutely loved about, obviously when we first worked together on the first book, it was a little bit nerve-wracking, I think, on both ends, because you're still trying to get to know each other. It's like the dating before the marrying. So you're still trying to understand what we're after, what theme, what colors, what is the book, like what's its entity. And I think that's super important. What advice would you have perhaps for authors, what they should expect going into pairing up with a new cover artist, or when they decide to pair up with you after seeing the episode, what should they expect?
I think what they often underestimate the importance cover has on the sale. This is what I see sometimes. I sometimes check the other groups, not cover design group, but more authors, writers, books, and I see that a lot. Cover will not make your book better, but it will help the sale. with the sale of the book. And I think that cover should be very, very important part of your marketing strategy also. Cover shows what your book is all about and what kind of style you have in the books. So I think that this is something that they underestimate a lot of time. What for me personally happens also sometimes is that they don't understand the difference between the designer, photo manipulator, like what I am, and the illustrator. So that is sometimes a problem because they don't understand. However, the designer is good, it doesn't matter. We are still somehow have limitations with what stocks can we find, while the illustrator can, if you get a great illustrator, he can do whatever you want. So I think that is one thing that sometimes is also can create a problem. Also, they sometimes want too much stuff, not just too much stuff, but too much stuff that are not important, or they don't have to be on the cover. Maybe, yes, okay, like sometimes on her left hand, she has to have a bracelet that has red stone. I mean, like, okay, if that is something really, really important for the story. But for me, as the reader, when I take a book cover, it's not important. Or having 4 or 5 characters, models on the cover, and the background. That's too much. That's really not something that is important. So, and also sometimes that what they don't understand, that I don't need to read their book to make their cover. So that sometimes that is happened, but you should read it. Yes, but I don't really have, even if I want, I will read it maybe later, but I don't have time to read all, especially fantasy books with a lot of pages. So those are, I think, some misconceptions. I would think that would be better if they start thinking about the cover as a marketing strategy more than it's just something that I need to do.
I think that's so accurate to say as well. And so for example, we've now done 6 covers, I think, together, and it's been an amazing journey because it's now to the point where thank you so much, I need this, or it's small elements that need to be changed, and I trust your judgment when you say I think this will be too much for the cover. Or for example, my favorite cover, I know we can't have favorites, but I do, was when I said, this is what I'm thinking for Token Vampire, the second book. These are kind of the elements, but I'm really not sure. And you said, hold up, I think I have a concept. And the next day you sent it to me and it was perfect. It was everything that I needed and more, because at the core you understood what my covers were. And I think that's really important, because I think a lot of authors going into it actually don't understand what they want on the cover and what they want to represent their book, because it's just like writing the blurb. It's very difficult to narrow down that small one compelling paragraph, let alone a visual representation. So I think it's important for anyone who is going a custom cover to really think about and know the detail that they want in their cover. Or if you're wanting to give your cover artist free rein and say this is a rough theme and see what concepts they come up with. But remember too, there is a certain, I want to say, limitation. You can't keep going back 6, 7, 8 times and keep saying no to everything when you didn't have an original concept, I want to say. How do you go with managing? Obviously, you have customs, so you would be scheduling in clients for those, but then you also create your own as well, so then you can pre-made covers. So what does your schedule of work routine look like?
You mean everyday routine, or you mean with how I create customs?
We'll do both. We'll go with what your everyday looks like, and then I'm really interested to know what your process is like for custom design.
I don't have I have a routine, but I can't have lots of schedule in what I will work that day, because I constantly getting emails about, can you please, those are covers that I already made. but people will send me email if they need some kind of changes on the blurb. If they want, now they have final page count and they want now me to make a paperback, or maybe they want something to be changed or something like that. For me, those are priorities. For me, priorities are like changes and adjustments, customs, then pre-made. Because I think that those writers that needs adjusting, the book is finished and you want to publish it, you want to see it done. So and it's also the list of work. So I try to do this first. After that, I'm doing custom cover. If I don't have any, then I'm doing pre-made. I also try to publish one pre-made every Monday or Tuesday, something like that, to have some kind of continuity. It's my day goes when I wake up. I usually, while I'm drinking coffee, I check my emails so I know what to prioritize that day. I check social media. I check cover groups to see what's going on. Sometimes I browse Kindle shop to see what covers are there, something like that. And then after that, I do some exercise, make myself a smoothie, and I start to work. I stop with the work around 5. Then I usually play some games, go to walk my dog. After that, I watch some fantasy show, Netflix, something like that. And after that, I have time to read before bed, and I'm usually sleeping at 11. I go very early. And I think it's very important to have enough of sleep. And it's very important to do other things than the work, because this is not hobby anymore. It's not, it's work, of course. So I have to have some time to do other things where I get my inspirations from. And those are books, TV shows, video games, and stuff like this. So I think for my work, those are very important. So that's some kind of structure, although there are also days when I have so much work that I have to work from, I don't know, 9 to 9, or there is also some weekends that I don't have a lot of work, so I read almost all day and enjoy myself and stuff. So yeah, something like that usually.
What is the step-by-step process? Say I am a new client. I've already experienced it on my end, how we work together. But for those who are watching, what should I expect in our journey together and creating my custom cover? What would we do?
First, client should explain me in the email a little bit about what he or she wants on the cover, in something like that. It's also important you also gave me that, to have some kind of reference images, because they don't have to be mine, of course. They just have to be from the covers that you like, what kind of style you like. It helps a lot, because when I see a reference image, I can understand better what you as a writer like, what kind of style would you like, because some prefer strong, bold colors, lots of colors. Some have maybe some kind of darker book and they want something to be saturated color, maybe something brown, something like that. So when I see the reference image, I can understand better. Of course, when I work with someone on her third, fourth book or something like that, then I don't have to have anymore, because I obviously we understand each other. That's why sometimes when you say it's not working, it's okay, but it's not working for me, I know, okay, I know your style, so I just have to mesh up stuff a little bit. When I work, and you know that's different than when we work on the first cover, then it's a little, of course, it's a little bit different till I get to know you. So after that, I usually say, okay, if I have any additional questions, I will ask, of course. If I don't have, they may appear later on. I will create something that I call a concept, It's something like a sketch for the illustrator. Concept is not in good quality, you know that. It's made from screenshots and they are just put together. They are here so you can better understand of how image will be placed on the cover, models we will have on the cover, how cover will look like. At that point, I think that it's very important that writer give me his feedback, what he liked, what he doesn't like, what wants to be changed. Maybe, maybe some wardrobe is not okay, maybe some you would like some other pose, something like that. Maybe you want sword in other hand and stuff like that. And when we agree on the concept, then I get all the stocks and then I start to create real cover. Then I put effort in lights, shadows, and I repaint it, basically make it beautiful. And then I send it to the writer to check it out. If everything else is okay, then we start to work on the text and every place where everything is going to be placed, how it will look and stuff like that. And usually after that, I make files with usually it's ebook for the start, and they later when they have a final page count and book is completely finished, then they come back to me to finish the paperback. So something like that.
It's very nitty gritty though, because I think, especially until you're in it, creating it, you don't realize how many small things that might need adjusted, even if it's color, hue, whatever it may be, which is something we've experienced together numerous times. We'll just tweak this or tweak that. So, unfortunately, Adriana and I had some technical difficulties as Zoom went down in Australia. So, we've been trying to hop back on for the last 45 minutes, and that is not working. However, I still have a couple of questions left. So, Adriana is still willing and wanting to answer them. So here they are. Something that I found really cool is that you also have gotten involved in the cosplay community. You amplify a lot of their designs, images, posters. Can you tell me how you got into that?
Yes, I love my work with Cosplay Arabia and cosplayers. They contact me through my Instagram account. They saw my work and they wanted to ask me to add some visual effects on photos of the cosplayers they were taking. So I said yes, of course. I love cosplayers and I will be delighted to do it. So we did some images together and they love what I do, and I love to work with them. They're really nice people, and we eventually became friends. So in 2019, they asked me to officially be a part of their team. So now I'm a specialist for visual effects, and I work exclusively for them for the Middle East. Last year, they held a huge cosplay competition, and I had a pleasure to be one of their visual effects judges, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it.
So what advice would you offer for somebody who is wanting to start their own business or graphic design services?
I will for sure tell them that nothing happens overnight, but it happens. They will need to learn a lot about different stuff that doesn't have anything to do with art. Stuff like publishing, text placements, fonts, licensing, copyrights, marketing, lots of different stuff that really don't have anything to do with your art. And also to get a thicker skin, because nothing is personal, even if it feels like. Sometimes you will get hurt by some other people's opinion, but you have to rely on the people who like what you do and like your art, and just keep going.
This is one of my favorite questions to ask. What is your goal? What is the dream that you are chasing?
I think one of the best things about my work is that you never know what will come tomorrow, who will see your art, who will contact you from one of the social media. So what I would like to also try to do some other stuff other than cover design, maybe to do I don't know, posters, CDs, maybe do some cool collaboration with some other artists or something like that. So we will see.
And last but not least, what is coming up for you? What should we be on the lookout for?
Well, I had a pleasure to work on another cover for Stephen King, I mean for publishing house Zion Zagreb. So this will be a cover for his other book called The Institute. And I'm very, very happy because I'm doing the second book and I really, really can't wait to see it done and to see it in the bookstores.
Thank you so much for joining me, Adriana. I've had such a good time and I'm super excited for the next cover that we work on. And for anyone who hasn't yet tried or seen Adriana's work, head over to her website, have a look at her portfolio, and I would highly recommend using her for your next book cover as well.
Bye, and thank you so much for doing this. It was so much fun, I have to say. So see you on your next book cover. Bye.
Take care, everyone. Talk soon. Bye.